Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott, and today I have an amazing lecture that I found in my treasure hunt to learn about the secret keys to prosperity. Recently, I was reading some Jim Rohn, who was an amazing mentor to Tony Robbins. Jim Rohn was an incredible motivational speaker, and in one of his books, he writes about his mentor, Earl Shoaff. So I researched Earl Shoaff and I found an amazing lecture that he gave back in 1962 called How to Get Everything You Want Out of Life. Earl Shoaff was also a motivational speaker, very similar to Jim Rohn. I found his teachings to be powerful. In the first half of this lecture, Shoaff talks about the proper planting of seeds. The Proper Planting of Your Seeds by Earl Shoaff. I know that a few people are aware of these basic fundamental laws that operate in this world of ours. Some people are aware of them. Some people are not aware of them, but they are using them. And sometimes we wonder why certain things happen to us. We acquire certain things, and then over a period of time it seems like we live in stagnation. Nothing happens. Nothing takes place. Everything seems to be at a standstill. There are basic laws in this universe that we are governed by and will work for you if you know how to apply them. And I would like to cover a couple of these laws that will assist you in knowing why these things happen. For an example, everybody is aware of the law of gravitation. Now, we don't know how it works, but we know it works. It works for everybody. It doesn't matter whether you are a saint or whether you are the opposite of a saint. If you jumped off a 20-story building and you're a saint and you land on a concrete sidewalk, you're going to be an unhealthy saint. If you happen to be a crook and you do the same thing happens to you. So basically, it doesn't matter if you're good or bad. If you use the law of gravity wrong, you are going to suffer. The law of electricity works for all of us. If we use it properly, we can light our homes by screwing a light bulb into a socket. If we stick our finger into it, then we get a bit. You're going to get burned. We can burn your house down with electricity, or you can light your home with it. You can cook with it. You can use refrigeration. All the great things that electricity will do for us. You do not have to be an electrical-minded person. You don't have to be a genius to do it. A child 3 years old can push a button and turn the lights on. And one of the greatest electrical engineers in the world, all he can do when he pushes that button is that he can turn the lights on too. So basically, it does not matter. It will work for you. We have laws to success. We have laws of poverty. We have laws of lack. Laws of prosperity. We have laws of hate. We have laws of love. We have laws of peace. All of these are basic laws. If we use them rightfully, wonderful things will happen to us. If we use them wrong, then we get ourselves in trouble. Now, one of the things that has always bothered me in all the books I've ever read on setting goals in life, positive thinking, positive goals in life. Many of you have probably read some of the books. You follow these different steps, rules, laws, that if we set 10 goals, we end up with 2. We lose out on 8. So it is not like the law of gravity, seemingly, because it doesn't work every time. And one of the reasons it does not work every time is that we do not use the right law. We are using part of the law. And so the law of averages will give you a percentage of your goals. That is all. You say, gee, wasn't that great? It happened to me. But what happened to all the other goals you had in life? I'm going to lay down a simple, basic way, and you can have anything material you want to have, and you can be anything you want to be, and it's a simple, basic situation. There's absolutely no problem to it. These are scientific things that work every time if you will do it in a simple way. Now, the first thing we want to become aware of is we want to be like farmers. We are going to plant seeds, and these seeds that we plant are the seeds that we are going to reap. Now, we are all aware that if we plant a seed of tomatoes, we are not going to get cucumbers, we're going to get tomatoes. If you plant a watermelon seed, you're not going to get grapefruit. You're not going to get radishes. If you want radishes, folks, you're going to have to plant radish seeds. And when you plant a seed in the earth, you must plant it properly. If you do not plant it properly, you will not have the harvest. One of the major problems in our country today for the average person is they take the time and the effort to buy all the harvesting equipment, but they do not understand the planting and the cultivating. We want to reap harvest, but we do not want to take the time to plant, and we do not want to take the time to cultivate. Now, the planting of the seeds in the earth is basically and absolutely the same process that you use in the mental world. We are born with a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. We are the only animal in the kingdom that have both the conscious and the subconscious mind, a mind that can decide any time in life where we want to go or what we want or what we don't want. We can decide with this accomplished mind of ours if we want to do a thing or if we don't want to do a thing. We can decide if we want to eat or if we don't want to eat. We can decide if we want to drink or if we don't want to drink. We can decide what we want in life, in a home, in an automobile, in the clothes we wear, anything that we want in this world, any type of furniture, any type of a home, any type of anything. We decide at any time. Now, where most people are making mistakes is that they simply set their goals down. Now, what are your goals? Write them down. A fellow says, I want a house, a car, some furniture, I want some money. And this is the way they set their goals. Now, he has a whole group of seeds, let's say apple seeds. We had 50 different type of apple seeds, and we just grabbed any of those seeds and we throw them in the ground, and they come up and they're green apples. Well, I wanted red ones. That's because you picked any type of an apple seed. You didn't describe it. So we must learn to define. Now, you've heard the word visualizing. You have to learn to visualize things. And when you visualize something, this is the thing that's going to come in your life if the visualization is strong enough. And we're always visualizing things in our life, but the tendency is to visualize negative situations. Now, the reason that we are visualizing negative situations in our life is because, let's not kid ourselves, we are living in a negative world. So if I say, Joe, how are you feeling today? And he says, good, fine. And I ask him the next day how he feels, and he says, I feel terrible. I've got a pain in my stomach, and I ache all over. And he goes into you'd think he was an actor. He can describe a negative situation in his body so wonderfully. When he feels good, he just says, fine. How come people, when they feel fine, they don't say, I feel great, I feel wonderful. I feel so great that I expect all the wonderful things in the world to happen to me today. In other words, we have a little feeling when we talk about the good things in life. I say, how are you doing in business? You say, fine. Now, if he has a bad day, he says, when I ask him about his day, lousy. Let me tell you, I'm just having a terrible time. Did you read that article the other day? It took me several hours to find it. It was on the back page down at the bottom in fine print, but I located it. People love negative things. They seem to vibrate with them. For some strange reason, they don't want things that are negative in their life, but they keep insisting on talking about them. And they can paint the most beautiful picture of loss and lack. I say, by the way, internal, and everybody immediately starts shaking. Combustion. A guy says, you know what I thought you were going to say? And he starts creating pictures, and he says, by the way, I wonder about last year. What I did with that, I wonder if they'll find that. And immediately he says, I can see the guy coming in the door now. I wonder when he'll be here. I wonder what he'll look like. And he gets beautiful pictures, and the next thing you know, the guy is knocking on his door. He created the picture, and he brought it into his life. And the funny thing about creating things, folks, we are creators. Nothing comes to us. Everything comes through us, from us. Everything in this world that happens to us comes from here, not out here. And everything that you have in your life is exactly what you designed. The dress you're wearing, the coat you're wearing, the tie you're wearing, the necklace you're wearing, the home you're living in, the neighbors you've got, the friends you've got, and the senators you've got. So don't blame me for the people that you attracted. When you signed this person up, you're the guy that coached them in. You didn't care who it was, as long as he came in, and pretty soon you helped plenty of them, and you say, you know what, Shoaff, I've got a lousy bunch of distributors. Well, when you understand these laws, you won't tell me these things. I'm not talking about you or you. I wouldn't dare. There's too many here. What I am saying is that everything we attract is what we are. And what I am speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you say. And what you are speaks so loudly, I cannot hear what you say. So everything you say is the thing that you created. Be careful what you create. Be careful. It's hard to visualize a thing. Let's try something. Let's visualize a 707, shall we? What's a 707 look like? I've been in one a couple times. I've only seen one in the air once. It's hard to visualize one. You want to visualize an automobile or a stole? I don't know why I keep saying stole. My wife must be visualizing a stole. I keep getting that feeling every time we come to New York. You see, we have to learn how to describe things. Now, I'm going to go through a description of a thing because this is very important in your life, folks. Please try to remember what I'm saying. You can change your life that quick. You can have everything wonderful in your life. You can have everything wonderful happening to you if you use these few basic little things. Now, I'm going to describe a thing, an automobile. I'll talk about an automobile because an automobile is easy to describe and people can comprehend it very quickly and very easily. I'm not going to talk about a Chevrolet. I'm going to talk about a Cadillac. Anytime I'm talking about a Cadillac, folks, I'm not describing the Cadillac per se. I'm talking about a Cadillac idea. The Cadillac idea in the clothing, in the home, and the things you really desire deep within you. And I'm not talking about something that you say, well, I've got to have money to buy a Cadillac. I'm not talking about money. It's not necessary that you have money to have a Cadillac. There are many wonderful things that can happen to you. These things can come to you from many unusual sources. Many wonderful things can happen to you. If you believe in the thing I'm talking about, your income can be doubled, tripled, quadrupled. The one thing that I had in my mind, that I had defined in my mind, was a red Cadillac convertible. I never had owned a Cadillac in my life. Now, you probably don't want a red Cadillac. I wanted one, and I defined that thing down to the socks. And the end result was I had me a red Cadillac convertible, and my income increased to a point where it cost me nothing. This is visualizing. This is a positive attitude toward the things you want. Too many people stop their dreams because they start thinking about that thing that is not necessary in order to have it. I say to somebody, do you want a new Cadillac? You say, I want one, but I just can't afford it. I say, it has nothing to do with affording. I just want to know what you really want. Most people are afraid to define what they want in life. They're afraid it's going to cost them something. Well, if you're making $1,000 a month right now, and you double your income to $2,000 per month, you can have a Cadillac. You can have 2 Cadillacs. You can have 5 Cadillacs. Don't worry about the income. I'm just talking about the principle now. The Cadillac. What do you do about it? I'll say, Pete, what would you like to have? He says, a Cadillac. Now, don't forget, folks, I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to give it to him. He has nothing to worry about. No money, no nothing. I say, Pete, what do you want? He says, a Cadillac. I say, fine, Pete. Now, this is where people make their mistake. I say, I've got a nice 1936 beat-up model downstairs. I'll give it to you. He says, I don't want a 1936 model Cadillac. I said, you just told me you wanted a Cadillac. He says, I want a 62 Cadillac. I said, why didn't you tell me, Pete? Why didn't you tell me? This is the way people set their dreams. He doesn't just want a Cadillac. Do you want an orange or a green one? He says, I want a red one. Now he's starting to define. And you know, it's very difficult to define up here in your mind. The first thing you do is you get a piece of paper, folks, and you start defining on a piece of paper a 1962 Cadillac, a red Cadillac, a convertible. I'm just describing one car now. You can have any car you want. A red Cadillac, 1962 convertible with a white top, red-white upholstery, a red floor, white wall tires, electric windows. AC unit. The guy says, "How much does that cost?" I say, "Don't worry about it. You're going to get it for nothing." The guy says, "I'll take it then." Now, he says, "I'm going to put everything down then." That's right. Describe it right down to the T. And when he gets all through, the perfect visualization is up here now because he has described it. When you write it, you start seeing it. He gets the picture up here by writing it down here. This is how you define things that you want in this world. When he gets the Cadillac completely defined in his mind, he's got the seed. He hasn't planted it yet. He's got it picked out. Now, the important thing is that you must release that seed. You must release it, and it must be planted. And the perfect thing in the world to plant that seed is to take this piece of paper now and write the concept, "Thank you." That's the law of acceptance. And you would be amazed how many people in this world can't accept their goods. You'd be shocked. Thank you means you have accepted it. I'm going to have it. I know it's mine. Then you take and you fold this piece of paper up with this goal on it, with this dream, with this desire, and you put it away. Put it underneath a tablecloth someplace. Put it in a drawer someplace. Don't carry it around, and don't take it out and look at it anymore. When you do this, this is planting it in the subconscious mind. You've accepted. You've put it into the subconscious mind, and the thing starts to work. Now, when you put this thing away, the reason you put it away after you have defined it, the seed has been planted in the subconscious mind. You put it away someplace never to be looked at again. The reason for it is like planting a seed in the earth, folks. If you go and dig that seed up 2 or 3 times a day to look at it, nothing is going to happen. You've never seen a lack of faith. It's the farmer who had the gullibility to dig up the seed to see if it was growing yet. Now that is little faith. He really believes in the laws of growth, and that's the same way with us human beings. This is the way we are making our mistakes. When we plant in the subconscious mind, and it's there, the dream is there. The dream starts working towards you. The Cadillac starts working towards you, and events start taking place out here. And the next thing you know, it's getting closer and closer to you. Now, if you take it out, you start to look at it, the thing that happens is we say, "I wonder where it's coming from." This is a true showing of a lack of faith. I wonder when it's coming. I wonder how it's coming. And so you are putting doubt in your law, and it will not come, folks. It will not come to you. Now, what's going to happen to the seed that you planted in the subconscious mind? You'll be driving down the street. You'll be in a restaurant talking to a friend, and all of a sudden there's a red Cadillac convertible with a white top, and the whole thing will hit you again, and you'll see your dream, and it'll keep coming back. The reason it'll keep coming back to you is this is the only way the universal law has of talking to you. There's no voice. It's all in visualization. And when this dream comes up, what it really means is that it's on its way to you. It is on its way to you. It's right around the corner. And so you do not at that time say how, when, or where. All you do is say thank you, because you know it's on its way, and then immediately put it back out of your mind. And how would you act if you really and truly wanted a red Cadillac convertible? If you really and truly wanted one, and it was a strong desire in your life, and you knew it was on its way, how would you act? You'd be excited, wouldn't you? You'd feel good. You'd say, "Man, it's almost here. It's almost here." You'd walk taller. You'd look taller. You'd be happier. You'd be full of positive. You'd act different. Wonderful things are going to happen to you. Where does the positive attitude come in at? It automatically creates a positive attitude because it's the law of expectancy. Good things are going to happen. You have planted your seeds properly, and they are working themselves to you. And you are automatically a positive person because all these wonderful things are going to happen. Don't just have one seed planted, folks. Plant many seeds. Any great desire you have in your life, a tangible object or intangible object. You can have anything in this world you want to have, and you can be anything in this world you want to be by using this simple process. There is absolutely no way you can keep success from your door if you will just follow this basic, simple, little process that I just described. This is the law of life, and every one of you people have worked this process. Maybe you weren't completely aware of how you worked it. But think about it. That's why you only get 3 out of the 8 things, or 1 of the 8, or 1 of 10, because you didn't know exactly the process you were using. Now you know the process, so you can deal with anything in this world. Children. Our children, folks, how many times have you heard people say to their children when the child says, "I'm going to be president of the United States," and the father and mother will say to them, "You? With your studies, you'll never make it, Junior." Now, this is a wonderful seed to plant in that fertile little brain the subconscious is putting in the mind, telling him he can't. He's not smart enough. The child says, "I'm going to be a rich man when I grow up. I'm going to have everything in this world." You say, "You? You're going to have to learn a lot, Junior. You don't know how to handle money. You've got to learn how to use that old elbow grease." Anybody who has ever used much elbow grease, if he's ever made millions, I'll assure you the elbow grease is up here. Now, what do you want to tell Junior? Anytime any children come to you or to their parents, you should tell your children, "Junior, you're the type of child who can have anything in this world. You have the ability and the intelligence to go anywhere, do anything, and have everything in this world. It is yours because you're that type of a child." Start planting these seeds in our children. This country today is teaching too many children what to think instead of how to think. And what are we? We are only children a little older than the other children. We are grown-up children, and we have to, at some time in life, we have to start deciding and pinpointing things that we want in this world. Now, I'm not just talking about the tangible objects. I'm talking about the intangible things. What would you like to be? What type of person would you like to be? Would you like to have more love in your life? Well, then you must learn to give love. You'll never have anything without giving. Everything I have, I receive back, multiplied. If I have a lot of hate in my life, I'm giving a lot of hate out. And so if I don't want hate coming in my life, I shouldn't be giving it out. If I don't want people to talk about me, I shouldn't be talking about people. Everything that I send out, I get back with feeling. Every thought I think, I don't get because I didn't plant my seed properly. I did not have a true visualization. How many of you ladies have thought of a beautiful dress or a beautiful something that you don't have? How many would love to have a mink stole? A few years ago, if my wife even mentioned a mink stole, the first thing that would come in my mind was, where are you going to get it from? How are you going to pay for it? I did not understand these things. When you just say mink stole, do you know what? I never was aware that there was so many mink stoles in this country, every kind of, every price, in color and design and everything else. And if you don't even know the exact kind you want, how do you know if you can ever expect to have it? Do you know the amazing thing? The average person in this world, and I'm only saying this because we are the average people of the world. And I say average because I'm talking to an intelligent group of people. I'm not talking to people way down the ladder. I'm talking to a group of intelligent people, and I'm saying this, and you analyze this yourself. Ask yourself this basic question. Do you know what you want in life? If I were to ask you right now, what do you really want? What is a tangible object that you want in this world? Things you can feel and touch and smell. What are the things you want in life? And you know, folks, the amazing thing, I doubt if there's 2% of the people in this room who can tell me and describe it. And just like that, come right out and say it. So what is success in your life? What is it that you want? Define it. Write it down. Pinpoint every drop of that dream that you have in your mind. Define it so clearly on that piece of paper that you can completely see it in your mind. And when you get it written down, write "thank you" on it and plant that seed and put it away, and it will start to materialize and it will start coming into your life. That is anything, folks. Anything. Now a guy says, I'm going to put down the Statler Hotel. You know why it wouldn't work for him? I'm not saying it won't work for the fellow, but I'm saying that it won't work for the average person. Do you know why? He couldn't even imagine getting it. He can write it down. He can define it. He can put "thank you" on it, but he can never plant the seed. And the reason he can't is because he couldn't even imagine getting the Statler Hotel. That's why. And don't forget, this is something you have to accept. You're going to have it, folks. I told people about a Cadillac, average people working on average jobs. I said, do you want a Cadillac? The guy said, no, I don't want no Cadillac. I said, well, why don't you want a Cadillac? He said, for one thing, it costs so much to operate. You see, he doesn't want one. He isn't ready for that step yet. Now see, he steps from one car to another to another. He raises his consciousness until pretty soon he can buy Cadillacs like the average person buys a pair of shoes. And you can grow. You can grow in your thinking. People say, boy, you got to be careful about people. They'll take you in if you're not careful. They get such a wonderful visualization. They're always getting taken in. So you see how we build these pictures in our mind. People will spend the morning they're going to get ready for a wonderful day. Tomorrow morning, we are getting ready for a wonderful day. We're going out, and it's going to be the most exceptional day we have ever had in our entire lives. I said, how are you going to start the morning? Exactly what are you going to do? He says, well, the first thing I'm going to do is go out on the porch. He's going through this morning now. He's going to go out on his porch and get his newspaper and read a little bit about positive thinking in the headlines. And if he can't find it here, he'll look and look and look and look until he finds something that is really good and negative, and then he'll tell his wife and describe it, and he says, guess what I found in the paper? And he starts telling her about some wonderful divorce that's taken place in the paper, and the kids committed suicide. And he'll go on with this, and he'll just say, just imagine that. Imagine that. And he'll describe it, and negativity will get started, and the wife will get negative, and he will get more negative. And when he gets all through the breakfast now, he's in such a nasty mood that he doesn't like his dog. And he's going to face the world with a positive attitude. Do you see how ridiculous it is, folks? Some of the ridiculous things we do in life. And we wonder why success doesn't always come to us in the proportion we'd like to have it come to us. Expect wonderful things. Be a creator of ideas. Let's not be moons, the reflector of ideas. Let's be suns. Let's be the creator of the light. Let's be the creator of the ideas, because we all have a capacity. That guardian of the gate, as the conscious mind, this guardian can at any time let any thought through to the subconscious mind it wants. Any thought at any time. We are thinking human beings. We have the capacity to think of anything. Anything in this world we can think of. But we do not have the capacity to think of nothing. Now you try to imagine what nothing is. Try to get a thought of that. There is absolutely no way. So that means we are thinking human beings, and there are thoughts flying through our mind continuously. A steady flow of thoughts all the time coming through the mind. Now, where do these thoughts come from? All of a sudden you say, gee, that thought must have come out of the clear blue sky. You didn't think of it, and it might have been something you didn't even know about. And the thought comes through and you say, well, that's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? That couldn't happen to me. And so you throw that thought aside. And if it's a good thought, why not accept it? Stop and analyze it and accept it and let them happen to you. And these objects come through to you all the time. A negative thought comes through and you say, boy, that's a good and a negative thought. And you start thinking about it, and pretty soon you get a frown on your face, and you think about it a little bit more, and you create a beautiful picture, and all of a sudden you put that down in the subconscious, and you think, boy, there's another bad thing that's going to happen to me. Have you ever thought yourself thinking about something you didn't want to think about, and you've been thinking about it for 5 minutes, and all of a sudden you think, what am I thinking about that nasty thing for? We do it. We do it all the time, folks. But we can stop now, anytime we want, and we can change that thought, and we can put it in a good thought. If you don't want to think about oranges, change the thought and think about bananas. If you want. If you don't want to think about lack, change the thought and think about prosperity. If you don't want to think about hate, think about love. If you don't want to think of anything negative, put a positive idea in your head. You know what happens. You can analyze, and you can just dream about it and everything else, and get all these seeds planted properly and have all these wonderful things happen. Get 20 wonderful seeds planted, get them written down, define, thank you, plant them into the subconscious mind. Put it away, And every time it comes back into the subconscious mind and the law saying it's on its way, you say, thank you. Don't analyze it because it's already planted. Just say, thank you, and it goes on. Have 10, 15, 20, 30 of these wonderful seeds planted, and folks, you'll walk on air. You'll have miracles happen in your life. Don't be afraid to do this. Your wife isn't in harmony with the wonderful things you want to happen to you. Well, if the husband isn't in harmony, or if the children are not, or your friends aren't, you don't have to show them. Plant your seeds privately then, and put them away privately, and plant them deep, and all these wonderful things will happen. And you'll say, you know one thing about that person, I don't know what happened to him, but man, oh man, everything they touch turns to gold. And that's the reason. That's the reason, folks, the proper planting of your seeds. It was a real pleasure being here with you. Thank you very much. Now, this is the introduction to the lecture, and he gives 16 lessons, and keep an eye out. I'll have another episode where we're going to go over these lessons. They're all amazing. But this beginning part is just wonderful and powerful, and it has a simple, wonderful lesson. Plant your seeds. We hear it from Joseph Murphy. We hear it from Neville Goddard. We have heard it from so many amazing New Thought teachers. It's such a simple idea. The idea of planting seeds in nature reflects so much of what goes on in the mind. You plant the seed, and you have to plant it properly. You have to water the seed, and you don't dig it up to look at it. Here, Shoaff gives a great technique that I plan on using. I would love for you to try it and let me know. Write down exactly what you want. And he also implies that it's important to give detail to what you want. You don't want just a Cadillac. You want that red Cadillac that's a convertible. You don't want the 1932 Cadillac. You want the 1962. Whatever it is, be specific. Write down on a piece of paper what it is you want, tangible or intangible. And then write thank you, and then put it in a place where you'll not find it. I want you to try this today, and I want you to report back when your seed sprouts. It's a simple, powerful technique. Anything is possible. Shoaff is telling you anything is possible if you can believe. Anything is possible. He gives examples, for instance, of somebody saying, I want this hotel, but they're not able to get it because they can't imagine getting it. So you have to be able to imagine getting it. You have to believe in getting it, and you can. Don't worry about how. Don't worry if you don't have enough money. All that stuff doesn't matter. You will get what you want. Plant the seed, and wonderful things will happen for you. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com, and welcome to The Reality Revolution.